Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is Joseph Maldonado. Today is 7/18/2021, which means it's my birthday, and I decided I'll bring myself out here and do some of the things I've been needing to do. You know, you guys would agree, we find this fun, we like doing it, so I figured I'd give myself a little time today to do a little bit of work on my car, man. I've been really busy, but today's my day. Also, you know, for the birthday boy, make sure you give me some likes, subscribe if you haven't already, and for anyone new, welcome to the channel. I'm gonna take you guys and show you what I've done so far since the engine's been in the car, and check it out. Alright guys, so since I've put this thing in here, I've only been able to do so much. I've been doing what I can on and off with work and everything. It's been pretty busy. Me and my son have installed the coils. We got the spark plugs, the wires and stuff on here. We got this all plugged in. I added a ground on the side here. The old one was all messed up. I'll probably end up sticking another ground on here. You want to make sure that this is grounded very good. Also, I've got the fuse box mounted back up where it goes. I wanted to figure out how I was going to mount all the factory stuff for the Mark III on here. So I took off the igniter that was here for the Celica, that old school igniter, and I mounted this in its place, and it turned out pretty good. But we got the igniter there. I was missing the noise filter for the Mark III. I didn't have it. This one is actually off of the 22R, and I just repinned it into here. I'm not quite sure about these, if this particular one will work or not, so I'm going to look into that. I mean, as far as I know, it's just a simple, you know, noise filter ground that would go right by the igniter here, but I'm gonna look into that. The diagnostic box, I mount it right here. It slips on and off just like it would on the Supra. The other box, I mount it back and around underneath the master cylinder here, and kind of hit it back here. You know, turned out pretty good. What else we got? We got the wiring harness inside the car. This is the original boot for the Mark III, which actually ended up going in there pretty nicely, sealed up. I'll probably get something to hold this harness up and make it look nice. It's very stiff because we have this wrap on it, but yeah, I'd like to make that look a lot nicer going inside the car. I had to pull out some stuff under the dash to get this to go in, because this has way more plugs than the 22R. The 22R only has these plugs going to the dash, I mean, and the other one is just like quadruple. So also, we put oil in the car. I went with Royal Purple break-in oil. It's a 1030. I figured I would just go with that from the get-go, because it has the high zinc in it. Also, temporarily, I went with putting the filter directly onto the block. I have a OEM Toyota filter. As you guys know, there's no stud on this block to put this filter, so I actually got my hands on the fitting that goes into the block there, from like a 5M. I got it off eBay for probably like 15 bucks or something like that. Saved me a trip to the junkyard, so whatever. But because on startup, I'm not really worried about the oil cooler. I just wanted to get that oil flowing as quickly as possible back to all the components inside the engine. So I figured on break-in, I would run it that way, and then later on I'll turn around and figure out whatever I want to do as far as the oil cooling. You guys know I put the extra return down here on the pan, so I mean, I got plenty of options for that. So that's what we got so far. I powered up the car itself just to see everything that comes on. Just started kind of testing, making sure the main relay and stuff on the car. This car is wired up differently than a Mark III, so you know, just kind of trying to integrate things together. By all means, I'm not a wiring tech, so I'm just figuring this stuff out. All right, so I got the keys. Go up in here. Oh, anyone got that problem? Anyway, my son's Supra is the other way. He has it on the other side, but not this side. Those locks, they like to fall in there. Go across. You always got to open the door for your date in this car, you know what I mean? All right, guys, here we are. I had to remove this plug. I noticed I was getting water coming inside my car here. You guys definitely, with your Supras and Celicas, you want to remove some of this stuff in here and look inside your car underneath the rugs and stuff and check for water leaking in, man. They're old, so a lot of the seals and things is not holding up like it's supposed to. I removed these AC components here, the blower and all that stuff, because as you can see how much bigger and how much more plugs are on this 7M harness. This was not fitting through there. I tried taping it all together, whatever. So I went ahead and got it through. Luckily the AC wasn't connected, so that's why it was so easy to pull it out. You guys notice how much bigger this is compared to the 22R one. I mean, 22R had 2 plugs and this thing has all this crap. I don't have to use all this stuff. You got the obvious 3 plugs for the ECU right here, and then you got the B1 and the M1, and then you have the factory plugs here for the 22R and the Celica. And basically I'm going to pull the switch power, constant power, stuff like that out of this harness and integrate that into the 7M. Some of these wires I noticed for the 22R, because it was such a basic EFI system, the gauge of these wires is really small, and the ones required for the 7M, you know, you got some really thick ones on here. So I think that some of these switch powers and stuff, it may make more sense for me to run a heavier gauge wire directly from those thicker ones to a power source, possibly coming directly from the ignition, because the ignition wires are very thick. Maybe throw a fuse from there in between, just in case anything happens to rub or something back here. You don't want to, you know, ground it out over here and blow something up in your ignition system on that side for your key. You got the hack sensor and stuff in here that comes in this harness. So I've been overthinking this whole thing. I overthink everything. I don't want to mess anything up. So it's been a minute for me to even get in here and really mess with this stuff. I'm pretty aware of what is what. It's just how I want to go about wiring it into the car. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And I'm trying to help you guys out, and I'm gonna explain it when I get it all figured out as best as I can. We'll go with that. Also, under the hood, you got the C1 connector right here. As far as I know, there's 2 wires in there, but one is for like the main relay on the Mark III, which the relay on this car is separate, and that's what that box is there. That is still activated by the key without having anything to do with this. This yellow and black wire is the constant power for the ECU. This is gonna go directly on the battery, and I'm gonna put in between here a 7.5 amp fuse. That's gonna be mounted right here on the battery. I already got the main power wire to the starter. The starter's another thing. We got the starter on. Take it down here as you can see it. We got the main power wire for the starter, which is running up right here and around. Got this. This is the ground right here on the chassis. I got new terminals and stuff to put on these. One more thing I missed was I swapped out my original throttle cable, and I ordered one for a Mark III because it's shorter. I'm not trying to run the big massive bracket here with the cruise control stuff, so I'm going to figure out a different fly piece here for the throttle and attempt to connect it from the bottom of the intake so you don't see it, so it's kind of hid away. All right, if you guys want to see how tight it is in the Celica for the starter, there you go. It wasn't too hard to change. You can get your hand down in here. It's just getting the nuts on the back side. The bottom one wasn't bad. The top one, you can't see it. You're just using you're just feeling back there. So that one's a little difficult, but I was able to install this obviously from the top of the car, and the 22R was down on this side, all the way down. So you actually had to lift the car up and get down there to do it, but it was an easy starter as well. So that's a good thing. It's not like my Lexus, which you got to take off the whole intake manifold to get down underneath it. So that's nice and simple. I need to do the trigger wire for the starter. I'm not sure as of now if I'll be able to use this one or not. The one on the Celica plugs into a harness over here that runs into the car, so that one comes from the ignition on the Celica and then used to run down over here. So as of right now, I have two on the car, the one that runs through the 7M, the one that comes through the 22R harness. It appears that I have a automatic harness, which when I bought it, I highly doubt it said that it was an automatic harness. But anyway, the year is correct with the ECU is what matters. And the only thing is, of course, with the automatic, you're gonna have that neutral safety switch. So that starter wire goes through that neutral safety switch, and the switch has to be in the correct position for it to throw the signal to the starter. I believe the white and black and the blue and black, just like you see here on the starter. I have a connection that would loop these two together and make it think that it is in park or neutral, and that would allow the signal to go through the wire. I have to do more research on that and testing to make sure I don't burn anything up. Some of these other things are for the automatic trans that don't even matter. You're gonna have like the reverse lights and stuff in here. All that stuff I'm not really concerned about. I just want to get the damn thing to start. So I'm just sticking to the basics for now. But yeah, this is the stuff I've been messing with. Also, we went ahead and put the master cylinder for the clutch. Put a new one on here, nice and brand new, hasn't even seen any fluid yet. I had to mess around and take the pedal out of this car. This car is originally automatic. This bolt is going to the top of the pedal. You got the two bolts that go here, then on the top of the pedal is supposed to be a bracket on the manual chassis. So this one is going through. I got a bit of a little brace around it, and there's I put something inside to take up the slack of the bolt so it's not too long and it's nice and tight, almost like it was bolted to a bracket. So now my clutch pedal is nice and tight. It's been loose all this time. I installed this stuff when I was a teenager. It was pretty funny going back and seeing some of the stuff I did and how I did it. I did it all in a rush, just with no care. You know, I made this hole in this area and I didn't even make sure I sealed it from water. I've been getting water down behind my pedal this whole time, and man, I could just really kick myself in the ass when I look back. But Anyway, I'm here to fix it today. I'm a lot older, a lot more patience. I got more knowledge, so it's all right. I can just make sure my son's not as impatient as I was, right? I have the upgraded braided line to run down from here. I have a brand new slave cylinder I gotta put on the transmission, and I have the fluid that I gotta top the transmission off with. And after that, the transmission is good to go. If you watch my other videos, you guys know that my center bearing on that drive shaft is not very healthy, but I would like to get a one-piece drive shaft anyway. So I just figured, why waste the money on it? I'll just connect it for now, so when I get this running, I can take it out and drive it. All right, guys, here's some of the stuff we're gonna be putting in and on the car today. We have the gear oil, 7590 we're gonna be using. I bought this thing here from Walmart. Hopefully it fits on here so I can put these in easily from the side of the trans and actually get the correct level of gear oil inside of there. I have the slave cylinder. I already did the master cylinder. I have this braided line here in place of the OEM one for the Celica, because it runs to the other side of the transmission, so it's actually too long anyway. So I have that. I would like to get around to putting the CPS on the car. I have a new seal. I have a new cover. This cover has a crack. And I have the O-ring that goes on this side so it doesn't leak. This thing needs to be cleaned up. I need to open it up, make sure all those points in there are cleaned up around those magnets and whatnot. I also have the thermostat here. I think I ordered this stuff from Drift Motion. I got this stuff, pretty sure. Comes with the seal to go around it. And yeah, that's what I got, so let's go. And I can't remember which side the fill is on, so let's see here. It's on the driver's side. All right. All right, guys, we're in the car. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the fill bolt so we can get the gear oil inside of here. And we're going to fill it until it overfills out of that hole. So. Very simple. Perfect, right? Alright guys, so I took off the original little squash washer that was on here. It's been on there so damn long that I had to cut it. And I'm going to use these bonded seals, which I use on damn near everything. If you haven't seen them already, they come in a bunch of different sizes like this. You can find these type of things on Amazon, eBay. Then they have this nice rubber seal on both sides there, and you just need to find the proper one. That one seems kind of on the small side. Obviously the one I took off was very small, but there you go. So you'll know you have the right one, because it'll just kind of grab all the threads on the way down. Nice and tight. Good? Yeah. Good to go. All right, next is the slave cylinder. As I said, I got a new one on here. The master cylinder is already new. This has a bleeder on it too, right?
Yeah. Might need the longer ones.
Huh?
Because this is thick.
We're looking for the bolts to go on here currently.
Yep, longer.
Not enough. All right, let's go find some more.
Long.
Looking for some bolts. See what we got up in here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Just need to clean them up. All right, guys, we have the slave cylinder. I went ahead and pulled the boot off. I had to slip that rod in there. This does not want to go in because this is on here, so we're gonna loosen this up. This should allow me to push this in. So take this off, because we got to install this on the car, so we got to be able to get this in. As you can see, you can just push the piston inside. So I'm going to push the piston all the way down and then kind of airlock it, I guess you could say. Alright, so now you see that's down in there now. Go ahead and put this on. Slip the boot. My hands are greasy, so this is fun. There we go. Alright. Alright, guys, so we're going to put the slave cylinder on. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to put the cable on because I wasn't paying attention, and I'm going to need a adapter to connect these two together. So this should have been a male side, not a female. The other side is correct. This was the main side I paid attention to because it has to make that turn, which it does. So we'll get back to that, but we'll go ahead and get it mounted on. It'll be easy to go back later and just put the line. And when it's time to bleed it, I'm going to fill this up. I'm going to leave this open and let it just kind of gravity bleed down and out, and then we'll just pump the rest of the air out of it. So you guys can see real fast, I put this on. So this is what the main thing I was paying attention to, was that it fit here and then it could travel all the way down to slave cylinder, and it looks nice. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and install the thermostat in here. Gotta get rid of these parts off the table, man. One thing at a time. All right, the thermostat in here and the seal. All right, that's in there. And now we're gonna seal up the outside of it. Let me grab some and chop this off. All right, so we're gonna nip this off there. All right, we got some sealing on this here, so we're gonna go ahead and just put it on and put it against it and wait to tighten it down. Let it set up a little bit. Try not to make a mess. So it is. All right, so we got the sealant in there and we left the gap. Both surfaces are touching. We'll let it set up a little bit and then we'll snug it all the way down. All right, go ahead and open this up. See how it looks inside. I have the new seals to put on it and a new cover that doesn't have a crack in it. It's pretty good. Didn't look like anything was getting inside of it. And this all looks nice and clean inside of here, which is great. So I'm gonna get the other cover and the other seal here, and we'll get this thing going. Got the new seal, pop the new seal inside, just goes right in there like that. And wipe off the edges of this one, make sure it's clean. Good. There's the uncracked cover. Now on the other side, we have the O-ring here. Go ahead and pull out this old one. Like that. Usually they're pretty brittle and they'll just kind of snap like that. This one's not too bad, but it is hard. We got the new one in this bag right there. Alright, got the new seal. In case you're leaking oil around this area, this is what you need to replace. And it's very simple. You just got to make sure when you pull this out, it goes back the same way it came out, so your timing's not off on your ignition. Another thing is, this appears to be off of the newer year with this gray plug. I need to look and check to make sure that the wiring is the same between the two. If not, I just got to repin these in the location for the older harness, because the actual clips, I believe, are the same, the actual connectors. So, all right guys, so we're at the engine. We're pulling out the #1 spark plug. We did set the timing with this at top dead center, but instructional purposes, we're gonna pull it back out. All right guys, so we'll go ahead and show you guys real fast. We got the CPS here. You're gonna line up that hole with that right there. If you happen to have this cover off, it's gonna put that right there. You're gonna make sure, if you have this cover off or you have it cut like I do, make sure these timing marks are all lined up and your crank is top dead center. And another way to verify it is putting the screwdriver in here and making sure the piston's at top dead center. if you can't see any of that stuff. All right, so come over here. We want to try to get this bolt area centered, and as we put it in, I haven't seen a video with the cover off, so you'll actually see it move when I put it in. So here we go. So I got this right in the center. I'm gonna push it in, and that's what we got. All right, so now once it's running, you'll be able to move this back and forth. Again, I haven't seen a video where they show the inside of this as they're installing it. So if it ends up being incorrect, I will be sure to let you guys know. But as far as I've seen, this is what we got here. Okay, and then got the bolt, and we're just gonna snug this up. We're not gonna tighten it now because this is probably gonna need some adjustment. But again, if this ends up being wrong for whatever reason, I'll be able to just take this hose, whatever, back off, and hell, I don't even have to put it on right now, honestly, because I'm probably gonna be firing this damn thing up without water. So anyway. All right, guys, so we got those few things done today. The weather is actually getting bad, so that's all we're gonna do on this video, but we'll be back. I gotta check to make sure these wires don't need to be repinned, because I'm pretty sure this is out of a newer harness, newer car. You see I got green, this one's gray, and all I have to do is just switch the pins out to match this one. But yeah, that's it for now, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm gonna have some wiring and stuff to do, and I'm sure I'll show you guys that stuff. All right, so peace out, guys.